Hey guys, my name is Maude Latour, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I just recently found out about you because of your new release, Block Your Number, and it came up on my Spotify, got hooked with your delivery, and then I ended up just listening to the rest of your music. Um, Talk to me about your creative process and kind of discovering yourself and being able to deliver the lyrics the way that you do.
Whoa, crazy question. Let's see. I guess my parents are both writers. They're both journalists. And so I've just always had a notebook in my hand. I've been journaling since like first grade. I have every thought that I've ever had recorded in my journals. So just writing emotions down, writing down everything about my life has just always been like how I get through anything and like what I feel like it means to kind of live. So I that's how I comprehend what I'm doing. So that's kind of where the lyrics come from. It's really a diary. I use all the songs as a diary, like to help me get through my life. And so it's become more and more specific. And I think that's been part of like finding myself like writing these songs so distinctly about exactly what I'm going through. And the more specific I've made it, the more it felt like truly me. Yeah.
It's more than just being specific. Like your wordplay is just insane. Um, so how did you learn to do that? I mean, unless you were just naturally gifted and, that's how when you first open your mouth, that's how
Wow.
you kind of delivered your, your words.
Damn. Wow. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I mean, I have always loved poetry. I really love poetry and I love wordplay like that. I write a lot of poetry and I keep a lot of journals. I write down, I think writing is a lot about just collecting. Like, I think if you can have a notebook near you all the time, like you can pick up things or think of random ideas. It's more, I think anyone can write good stuff. I mean, I think you just have to like have your pen out at the right moment, kind of. Yeah. So maybe that's my answer. Yeah.
So let's jump in and talk about Block Your Number, which is your most recent single. What was there a specific line, a specific event that kind of kickstarted this song in the writing process?
Oh man, I forget that like I I write these songs to make myself feel better, but then it actually like I have to relive this trauma every time I think about it or promote it or talk about it. But well, actually the chorus, the now you're leaning against a brick wall with your backpack on, baby, that whole part, I was in the middle of breaking up. My ex and I were breaking up. We were like on a corner by my house and he was leaning against a brick wall with his backpack on and he looked so much older than when I met him. And in the middle of our fight, I was like, not fight, it was okay. But I was like, pause for a second. I voice memoed those words and I kept holding on to it for the next year, and like the song came together like throughout that year. So that's the instance that it's about. It's about that moment kind of, and it's kind of just like a flood of details and everything. Literally, I tried to pack everything about this breakup into this one song. Yeah, so that's what it's about.
So literally, as this was going on, you paused to kind of like, is that literal? Like that's
oh my
insane.
God, literally. I have the voice memo. The voice memo actually plays at the beginning of the song. It's like documenting my heart in voice memos, and then you can hear like that's like that's the voice memo right there, like get packaged up and captured. Is that crazy? It's
What a
totally
moment!
crazy.
What a
I
moment!
know, and he was so used to it. He was like, oh, I know that's gonna be a song. And I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go. Thank you. Like he gets the process. It's okay.
I just pictured like how when people are like, oh, that must be an influencer. It's like, oh, that must be an artist.
Oh, oof, oof. That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. You got to just be recording all the time. Like, you don't know what it's going to happen. You always have to just write it down.
That's so hilarious. So, you know, you went back to this and you started working on or finalizing the song. So you did mention earlier, like sometimes you think you get rid of these situations when you put them down to paper, but then you always constantly go back to that space and time. And at the same time, you're being so vulnerable with your audience. So like, did you, during the writing process, did you like go through certain situations that you were just like, you know what, maybe I need to back out and not write about this, or like, I don't, you know, what was that writing process like?
For sure. That's a tough question. I guess I finished the song. I put all the pieces together maybe 6 months after we broke up. We like FaceTimed and I wrote the song right after that. And that's something I've been struggling a lot with lately. Like I actually can't tell the difference between my emotions that are my real emotions and how I keep if I can't tell if I hold on to pain or like hold on to loves or exes just to like get all the inspiration. I like honestly can't tell. Like if I didn't write songs, I think I would have taken a very different approach to like this breakup or getting over someone. Like I wouldn't have felt the need to return and replay it over and over, which I totally did because I was like, I know it'll be worth it with the music. And it was like, honestly, in the end, like, but now I'm like, wait, I'm actually sick of writing songs about this 8-month period of my life. Like I need to pull back. And so that's kind of what I'm going through now. Like forcing myself to stop going back to this well of inspiration that I could get 100 more songs out of, and I'm choosing to like lose those songs because I literally just can't freaking do that anymore. Like I'm over it. Like I can't keep talking about it. So yeah.
now, do you feel that, you know, since you are stepping away from those kinds of songs, do you feel like you're having to relearn how to write, just because now you're writing about different experiences or different things?
For sure. I'm in the middle of it. Like I'm just like trying to clean slate my mind right now to start over a little bit. Like I ask me that question in like 6 months. It's going to take a minute for sure. Like I agree. I am totally having to relearn, but I'm not worried about that. I've had to do that a bunch of times. And like, I think it's about having faith that like you will hit a well of inspiration again, and it might not be this week, like it might be in a little bit. So I'm okay with like having eras where you're like reevaluating for sure. Yeah.
Right. Now, aside from kind of discovering your delivery, like how did you discover your voice and your sound? Because I feel like, you know, listening to your discography, like you have such a unique sound. So like, how did you go about, you know, kind of figuring out who you were or who you are as an artist? What was that development process like?
Sure. I think I'm still changing. Like I do think like I'm excited. I get really excited when I think about the fact I'm so early in my career, in my life. Like I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of different eras where I like go deep into other sounds. I've always like, I think I'll have like a folk album one day, you know, like I'm down to like really deep dive into certain sounds. But right now, I mean, it's definitely influenced by, I think I mostly found my voice when I realized I could stop belting. Like I didn't have to like, I used to sing Rolling in the Deep, like as my audition song for everything. And then I realized I never had to do that ever again. Like I could sing low and I could like, and I could bring my delivery from like just purely emotion. Like my favorite part of singing is like the romance I have with the microphone of like every syllable and every TS sound, like being so intentionally and emotionally drawn out. And I think that's my strong point as a singer. I don't think it's my crazy riffs or anything. It's not. I think it's really this like emotional romance with on stage where it feels I can go back to that emotion completely and like relive it kind of in a torturous way, but relive it again. And like, I think that's where the singing the singing sound is mine. Like I did a lot. It's an evolution of like jazz band in high school, learning to hold and like have the chemistry with the microphone like in that way. And I like making it like whispery secrets and like it really intimate, like I always want my vocals to be dry, really close to the mic in the mix, and like make it like just one-on-one, so crisp and like that. Yeah.
I love that you do. I love that you say romance with the music, because like, as I mentioned earlier, like your wordplay, I do get that vibe where it's like you're almost taking me into this dance with your vocals, where it's like you'll start singing and then you start doing like, I don't know, like more like a spoken word, and then like there's some parts like Ride My Bike where like I felt like you were almost ready to rap. Like so you know, what is that marination process like for you, and like being able to try so many different things in one song and still make it sound like one song instead of like 3-4 different kinds of songs?
Ooh, interesting. I mean, I think I do have some songs that sound like 4 different kinds of songs. Like even Block Your Number, like there's sections for sure. And Starsick or Ride My Bike, there are totally sections. But that I think the lyrics, I think because it's so personal, I feel like there's never question that it's so tied together by it all being me. Like I feel confident that whatever I do, because I think I'm pretty good at being myself. I think I'm confident that whatever I do is like from the same origin, which is my soul. So yeah, I think so.
So in the past, and I think it was for Starsick EP, you got to collab or co-write with Alexander 23, a name that's been popping out or blowing up lately. What was that writing session like with him, and like how did his writing session kind of impact the way that you write music today?
Yeah, we didn't write that song together. I wrote it by myself and I brought it to him. So yeah, but we did produce that. Like that's my favorite way to write. Like I prefer to bring a finished song to a producer, because I do find the writing to be such a personal process. So I don't really like doing it in the room often. Yeah. So, but I brought him that finished song and we did the production together. He produced it, and it was like that was really like sonically defining for me. It was my first song that of all the music I have out right now, that was the first song, except for Shoot and Run. It was the first song of this new era of like when I got a manager. I had taken time off of school. And I heard it. I had been doing a lot of sessions trying to figure out what I was doing. And then when Alexander and I finished that song, when it was done, I was like, oh, this is my sound. Like I can, like this glitch pop type of these harmonies, these breaking the rules of sections, having an outro that's this long, being so emotional about it, like having this arpeggiator, these crazy sounds, like this is me. And that kind of started the era of that set the groundwork for like the rest of the sonic palette. And I discovered that I could have the production be like weird, and so that I definitely think led to a new era for sure. Yeah.
So the fact that this new era was kind of discovered while working with him, is he also producing your upcoming material, or do you have another producer that you're also working with?
I haven't worked with him since Starsick and Plans. He now I've done a lot of songs with my friend named Melv, and he produced Furniture, Super Fruit, Block Your Number, and a couple more, and another producer named Mike Adubada who produced Ride My Bike, Lovesick, One More Weekend, and like they've both become really good friends of mine. And yeah, we it's a really creative place when we're in the room together. Like they both give such different things, and they let me like explore myself, and it's really fun. Yeah.
I love like your energy talking about like the studio process, like during this interview. Like I can only imagine what it's like to be physically in the studio with you while you're like throwing out ideas back and forth.
I miss it so much. I definitely, I haven't been in a real room. Like I've had some people come to my house after they like get dusted a few times, just mouth, but yeah, I haven't been in a studio in a normal way in so long. I so miss it. Like I realize that's contributing to my unhappiness at times. Like, I miss it for sure.
So, you know, with this new era, like what are your plans of like music? Are you looking to do a sophomore EP? Like, are you doing singles? Like, where does Block Your Number kind of fit in your new body of music?
Definitely. Well, Block Your Number fits in this era that started with Furniture, which is probably my favorite song of mine. Furniture, and then One More Weekend and Block Your Number. And so far, those three are just like the songs I wrote post heartbreak, and it's just this. I believe that music is all heartbreak medicine. Like it's those three songs in that order is what got me through my breakup. And I know that they have a magical power to like do the same thing for other people. And now I mean, obviously this whole year has been super weird. I was planning to make it an EP, and now I'm kind of playing it by ear and waiting for this election to happen and everything else. But I do think it's from an era of like that started with heartbreak and actually turned into just what it means to have emotions that are so intense, and like being alone and like finding meaning and finding yourself again. And I think I'm curious how the era will end up. If it wasn't such a weird year, then I would know already, but I'm letting it kind of grow the way that it grows naturally. So I will answer that in a few months. Yeah.
So in 6 months we're reuniting. So that's the plan.
Okay, sounds good.
So one question that like I'm curious about is, did you recently sign a record deal?
No, I am super independent. It's actually ridiculous. Like sometimes I wake up and I like can't believe how independent I am. No, I'm super independent.
Interesting, because your contact was from me, so I was like very surprised.
Ooh. Yeah, my manager works at a label. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I was like, dang, nice. She just signed a deal.
Oh man, no freaking way. I don't know. I'm confused by it. The whole world right now. Like it's fun to be independent. I'm confused. If I found the dream label like that really got what I wanted, then I would consider. But I feel like I can do a lot more on my own. I feel like I can blow this up low key without anyone's help. So I'm gonna try to do that a little more before I consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good that's your mindset. And I mean, you're obviously releasing like really great music, so it doesn't seem like you kind of need that help.
Ooh, thanks.
So lastly, to close us off, like with Block Your Number, your most recent single, what was the biggest challenge in creating this track?
I thought I think it's maybe yet to come. Like I thought that it would be a little bit. Well, there's a few challenges, I guess. One was my ex got a little mad at me, like for it, like which was a lot, but we'll put that aside. And the second challenge was I was worried it would be indigestible a little bit because there's so much packed into it and it's super crazy. And as a result, it like I think it is a little bit indigestible, but I think it is for the people who like. I'm so, when I look at the songs I've released, like it's such an artistic challenge to me. And I think it's like just musically and like writing wise I think it's like the most cool, like new never been done before song I've ever written. So I'm really happy with like where it's gone. But like it's kind of like some of these more risky songs like Starsick or Block Your Number, like that are not as like cut down the middle, digestible, like but they mean so much to me. It's like hard to want the audience to like receive it in a way, to see how much it to not to yeah, it's just a different type of song. And so that's sometimes hard, but it's okay, it's fine, whatever. I'm doing it for me, not them.
Exactly, that's what matters at the end of the day.
exactly, yeah. So.
Well, congratulations with Block Your Number. I can't wait for more music from you. I'm glad that, you know, it's better late than never, but I'm glad that I found your music. And again, thank you for taking the time.
Don't worry, you're not late. This is just the beginning.
Perfect.
You're still early.
I'm on time.
Don't worry. Yeah, well, you're right on that.